Okay, so neutrals and color matching is the last mixing we're going to practice before we get started with our actual painting. And remember, neutrals are colors that are not found on the color wheel. Browns, black, white, gray. We're going to practice making browns. And so basically, the beginning of this unit, I was saying, what happens when you mix all three primaries, you get brown. It doesn't always look brown. So we're going to mix 3 different types of browns, and then at the bottom, record what kind of paints we used for it. So here we go. I'm going to start, and then you just want to pay attention to what you're using. So I'm going to use a little bit of warm yellow. I'm going to use cool red. And I'm going to mix those together first. This is sort of just like this is a lot of playing around. And no surprise, we get sort of a dull orange because I use that cool red with the warm yellow. So we have a little blue in there already. I'm going to add a little cool blue. And you can just choose whichever ones you want to try just to see what happens. That's why I have you do 3. Remember, the cool blue is really intense. So it's still looking pretty orange. I'm going to add some white. We could call that a neutral. I'm going to add a little bit more blue to get it a little further away from the orangey color. Hey. There's... Oh, I took them out because they were really, really dirty. Messy. All right, now it's looking a little bit more purpley. So this is like my personal preference. I like to experiment. You could just use this as a neutral if you want. So I used warm yellow, cool red, and cool blue. I'm going to add a little bit more warm yellow. Actually, you know what? I'll do that here. Because remember, this is for a reference. It's also for experiments. And that is the same combination of colors, just with more warm yellow. Maybe I'll try a little more with white. All right. So there's my first neutral. And I used cool blue, cool red, warm yellow, and white. There you go. And you're going to do that 3 times. I like getting a little bit of variation in there just so I can like reference it. And you're going to do that for 3 neutrals. Make your own black is a challenge. So make your own black. Same thing. You're playing around. You probably aren't going to add white, but you cannot use black for that part of the challenge. Thanks. Ooh, that's getting pretty good already. I just did a little bit of cool red and cool blue. More cool blue. I'm going to add a tiny bit of cool yellow. Boop. So if you're noticing too much of one hue, like if you're noticing this is too blue, you want to use the complement of blue, which is orange. So red and yellow. Maybe I'll use this to dull it down a little. And I won't make you watch me do the whole thing, but that's how you do make your own black. This actually probably would look pretty good, as long as you don't thin it out too much. So that was cool yellow, cool blue, cool red. Obviously much more heavy on the cool blue. And then for the paint chip, you're just going to rip off 2 pieces of color. So I'm going to leave some magazines at your table. You have glue sticks at your table. It doesn't matter what color you choose. You just rip off a piece and glue it down to the paper. And then you're going to try to match that color as best you can. So this is an experiment in color matching. Glue those down and start trying to think about how you can make those colors. So that's your final color mixing practice before we embark on our painting. And that is that.